In the headlines, UN marks International Peacekeepers Day. At least 5 UN peacekeepers killed in convoy ambush in central Mali. And Zimbabwe's main opposition calls for President Mugabe to step down. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Hour Live on GBC24, your own news channel and GTV. My name is Michelin Taka. Welcome. Now, a report just reached us that 5 people have drowned in the Volta Lake. We'll bring you details of that story later in the bulletin. And moving on, the United Nations Resident Coordinator in Ghana, Ms. Christine Evans-Clark, said the UN will preserve the legacy of gallant peacekeepers in the world by taking action against those who abuse their authority by exchanging in sexual exploitation during peacekeeping missions. Ms. Evans-Clark was speaking at a flag-raising ceremony to mark this year's International UN Peacekeepers Day here in Accra.
The 29th of May every year is observed globally as International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. Since the first UN peace mission in 1948, over 3,400 peacekeepers have lost their lives while on mission. The day is to honor the fallen heroes and pay tribute to military, police, and prison officials, as well as civilians who continue to serve in peacekeeping operations. As the 10th largest contributor to UN peacekeeping missions, Ghana joined the rest of the world to mark the day with a flag-raising and wreath-laying ceremony. The first wreath was laid by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ni Usa Mills, on behalf of the government and people of Ghana. The UN Resident Coordinator, Christine Evans-Clark, laid the second wreath on behalf of the United Nations. The third wreath was laid by the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Peter Faidu, on behalf of the Ghana Armed Forces and all security agencies in the country. Mrs. Matilda Kranteng, a representative of spouses of fallen heroes, laid the fourth wreath on behalf of families and loved ones of the fallen heroes. Ms. Christine Evans-Clark said, as the world pays tribute to the gallant heroes, there is a need to uphold integrity.
We honor our blue-helmeted peacekeepers by recognizing and thanking the many, the vast majority, who serve with distinction, and we protect their legacy by taking action against those few who abuse their positions of authorities. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has led the UN in a decisive response to the cases of abuse, enforcement of standards, support for victims, consequences for the perpetrators of sexual exploitation, and prevention.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ni Usa Mills, said security personnel in Ghana apply the experiences they gain through peacekeeping missions to maintain peace in the country.
Allow me, in this regard, to use this platform to call on all Ghanaians to treasure the peace that we enjoy and to work towards maintaining and sustaining it, especially as we prepare for elections in November this year.
The UN pledged to realize the full potential of UN peacekeeping for a better future.
At a ceremony to commemorate the Golden Jubilee of the Eduman Senior High School in the Fijai Kwabre district of the Ashanti region, students were admonished to eschew acts of indiscipline and concentrate on their studies.
The Eduman Senior High School started as a training college in 1965 with 75 students. The school currently has a students' population of about 3,000. In spite of its academic achievements over the years, the school is fraught with challenges in terms of infrastructure. At the 50th anniversary celebration of the school, the headmaster, Mr. Kwesi Edujemfi, commended the teachers for their dedicated service. The principal of the College of Technology at the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Reynolds Okai, outlined some characteristics of an unprepared student.
Absenteeism in school, habitual lateness to school, lackadaisical attitude towards school assignment or homework, lack of participation in class, habitual exit from classroom with the least opportunity, and for flimsy excuses. It is therefore the role of both the parent and the teacher to manage such a student in the home and classroom situations to effectively complement and direct teaching and learning.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. John Alexander Akon, emphasized the need for stakeholders in education to address the causes of the falling moral standards in society. The Chief of Nkwantakese, Nana Boachi Yam, advised the students to take their academic work seriously and avoid lifestyles that will mar their future.
The Ghana Association of Writers has held its triennial Congress in Accra. The Congress elected those who will lead the association for the next 3 years. The founder of the Salt and Light Ministries, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, called on writers and storytellers to be faithful and credible in the stories they publish.
Since its establishment, the Ghana Association of Writers, GAW, has contributed immensely to the country's development through storytelling. The association creates a platform to encourage reading and writing and the exchange of ideas. GAW also protects and advances the interests of writers. Every 3 years, the association changes its leadership to bring in fresh ideas. This year's Congress was dubbed Preserving Our Heritage Through Writing. The founder of the Salt and Light Ministries, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, called on writers to write books that will preserve the country's heritage.
Writers write because they have something to say to the world. They have a lesson to teach, a lesson so important to them. The preservation of writing as heritage is a basis for true and sustained development. Whatever happened to our heritage that reflects our life and culture?
The re-elected president of the Ghana Association of Writers, Mr. Kwesi Jan Apentin, said GAO would continue to awaken, cultivate and educate the literary consciousness of the Ghanaian public.
We want to preserve our heritage through writing. So we know that when there is writing, we're able to preserve our cultural attributes and heritage. We're able to preserve our languages, our way of life. And it is important that we become a literate, a nation that reads and writes. Because you cannot embark on democracy with people who cannot read and who don't want to read.
In an interview, the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ms. Jifa Gomashi, said poetry is a very effective way of telling a story.
The call for writers to promote and celebrate our heritage through their writing is a good one. The poets who we had today talked about the experiences in their own communities. The one from the Eastern region mentioned the different kinds of trees that you have. He said, Odum Ayedin, and he mentioned Wawa or one other, which is soft, Ayemre. Through that literature that he spoke, if he writes it, if I read it, I know about that heritage.
The Congress ended with poetry recitals.
Do you hear the sound of a new Africa coming together with the sound of the songs of joy, reuniting the joys of fathers to their mothers? Hanjay, 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 hoo, ch 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 ch. Pan-African.
The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Emiza Arthur, has advised pastors to lead their congregations to seek peace for Ghana, especially in this election year. Mrs. Emiza Arthur was speaking at the ordination of 7 pastors of the Change Life Baptist Church here in Accra. The 7 newly ordained pastors are Mr. Richard Asante, George Kwesi Ohene, Bismarck Ejei Bedu, Isaac Awotwe, Charles Ni Aite Okain, Joseph Boateng and Emmanuel Kwanzaa, after acquiring their diplomas in biblical studies from the End Time Bible College. The time finally came for them to be ordained.
I will make it the purpose of my life to live for Jesus Christ, and I ask for your prayers and the prayers of this church to help me fulfill my calling. Amen.
They were charged to live by the truth and preach with love. The
The church then prayed for the new pastors to get the strength to do God's work. A visiting member, Reverend Esperance Klugan, asked them to seize every opportunity to spread the word of God and exhibit love for humanity wherever they find themselves.
Your responsibility is to preach the word. If they are ready, preach. If they are not ready, preach the word. The Holy Spirit will convince. The Holy Spirit will converse. He said rebuke. He said reprove. He said encourage the people.
The wife of the vice president, Mrs. Matilda and Mr. Arthur, advised the wives of the new pastors to pray for God to give their husbands the needed grace.
Wives, God will give you the grace if you depend on Him, if you throw yourself at Him, if you daily seek His face, if you daily go to Him. So together, grow with your husbands. Asofo, please grow with your wives. Study the Bible with them. Pray with them. Those of you who have children, don't leave your children. Small as they are, begin with them. Begin with them and let it be a family affair.
The congregation used the occasion to pray for the government and people of Ghana for peace and progress. 25-year-old Ernest Bugri from Zibila, Tanga in the Boku West district of the Upper East region needs 12,000 Ghana cedis to undergo surgery on a brain tumor. His condition was diagnosed last year at the Tamale Teaching Hospital when he was suddenly taken ill. Master Bugri, who was in his second year at the Zibila SHS, could hardly sit through lessons due to the pains. He said during his final year, he could not write some of his papers because his condition worsened before the examination got underway. His condition has deteriorated and he can hardly walk, sit or perform any activity. His family is appealing to the public for assistance. Donations can be made to Daniel Adgana, Bolgatanga branch of ADB Bank, account number 901-2000-677-81301. Welcome back to our earlier story on the capsided boat at Yeji. We now have John Pelly on the line to give us more details. Hello, John.
Hello.
Good evening. What more can you tell us about the boat which just sank?
Around 1:30 p.m. this afternoon, one boat called TT was coming from Kapla to Yeji. Unfortunately, when they got to the setting point of the river, because of the quick dry of the water lake, the boat landed on a stump in the water, and which destroyed part of the boat. And because there were load and passengers in the boat, the drivers couldn't control it to the island nearer to them. That brought the whole accident on the water lake this afternoon.
Reports that we got earlier said that 5 people were dead. Is that true?
Yeah, actually, at the beginning, when the Navy officers followed up to where the accident happened, they came back with 5 bodies discovered from the water.
And are there others injured?
Yes, another body too was also found again, making 6 at the moment.
Okay, so the rest of the passengers are now fine. Were they taken to the hospital or what happened?
Yes, in collaboration with the police, most of the passengers were taken to the Matthias Catholic Hospital this afternoon for treatment.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, John. John is the secretary of the Yeji Boat Owners Association, and we will bring you videos of that incident at 10:30 tonight. Enjoy the rest of the news. We'll be back shortly after this break. Welcome back. We now take you to the foreign front. The UN says 5 United Nations peacekeepers have been killed in an attack in central Mali. A convoy of the UN peacekeeping mission, whose acronym is MINUSMA, was ambushed on Sunday mid-morning some 30 kilometers west of the town of Savere in Mopti region. The UN did not immediately confirm the nationality of the dead soldiers. MINUSMA has Mohamed Salah Anadif condemned the act, describing it as a heinous act of terrorism. UN mission forces in Mali operate under constant threat. The Mali mission is the most dangerous active deployment for the UN peacekeepers, and it has been hit by sharp international tensions since it launched in July 2013. According to the UN, at least 64 MINUSMA peacekeepers have been killed while on active service, while another 4 have died in friendly fire incidents. Zimbabwe's main opposition staged a mass rally against President Robert Mugabe on Saturday, calling on the 92-year-old leader to step down over his failure to fix the economy. The MDC protest followed a similar march in the capital Harare last month, the largest against Mugabe in nearly a decade. MDC leader Morgan Tsvangirai deputy addressed supporters, vowing that demonstrations could continue until Mugabe's regime relinquishes power. Anti-government protests in Zimbabwe have been often brutally broken up by police, but the march was carried out without violence. Mugabe's decade in office have been marked by economic decline, repression of dissent, claims of vote rigging and mass unemployment. The country is also battling severe food shortages exacerbated by drought. Mugabe, the world's oldest president, has vowed to stand again for re-election in 2018. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni vowed to cut military and security ties with North Korea in line with the UN sanctions imposed following Pyongyang's nuclear and missile tests. Museveni, during a summit in Kampala with visiting South Korea President Park Geun-hye, said he had ordered officials faithfully to honor the latest UN sanctions. The African country has maintained military cooperations with the isolated North, with dozens of North Korea military and police officials believed to be working in Uganda as military trainers. Museveni, who has ruled Uganda since 1986, has visited the North 3 times and met Kim Il-sung, the country's late founding president and grandfather of the current leader Kim Jong-un. The UN Security Council in March imposed a toughest sanction on date on the North following its 4th atomic test in January and a long-range rocket launch a month later. To go for a quick break, we are back with Sports Tuesday. It's now time to talk some sports. Now, Kumasi Asante Kotoko has moved to a 3rd position on the Premier League table after recording a 4-2 victory over Techiman City. The encounter was one of the match day 15 fixtures in the ongoing Ghana Premier League. Here are results of the matches played. Obuase Ashgold 0, Wafa 0, Techiman Kotoko 4, Techiman City 2, Brekum Chelsea 0, Wa All Stars 1. Second D, Hasakes 1, Inter Allies 1. Indoma, Eduana Stars 4, Bechem United 2. And in Dansuman Liberty Dwarfs 1, In Daewoo Dreams FC Code 1, House of Coke 1. In Takwa Mediamark 2, New Edibiase 0. Entertainment is next with on Showbiz. We brought you excerpts of a youth concert held in honor of the Earl of Wessex Prince Edward during his 3-day visit to Ghana. Here are excerpts of that interview.
A performance by students from the British International School was a curtain raiser for the event. Award winners from Nigeria also treated the Earl of Wessex, Prince Edward, to some old high-life tunes. It was a turn of students from the St. Rose's Senior High School. Their message reminded Ghanaians on the need to embrace their culture and identity.
We haven't changed the culture. We have modified it. We haven't forgotten our heritage.
A Kwanlugo dance performed by students from Tema Senior High School educated the gathering on environmental cleanliness. The energetic Ndembe dance from Guinea was also displayed. The Alpha Promotions Award winners thrilled the audience with the choreography.
A weather report is up next.
The Winko Weather Report, brought to you by RMG Ghana Limited, with technical support from the Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Hello viewers, welcome to the weather report brought to you by RMG Ghana Limited. Today we'll look at the satellite imagery. We have series of rain clouds forming over the coastline up to the source region in Nigeria. These are the system. Then it's going to grow in size and affect our region tonight and tomorrow in the morning. For the northern sector, for now the sky is clear over their area, but there is a system that is cooking at its initial stage over the south region. As we can see, this very one, we are anticipating it to grow in size and then move for tomorrow afternoon over the northern sector. So for the forecast, partly cloudy over the north, but cloudy over the southern sector with isolated to scattered cases of rain and slight thunder over all these areas. Then also over the sea, we have series of rainstorm clouds that are trekking over the sea. So the sea is very, very buoyant in terms of rain and thunder. So, and also it's not advisable for fishing this evening up to tomorrow in the morning. For temperatures, it's going to be 23 over the middle and the coastal strip, but 24 over the northern sector. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be cloudy to partly cloudy with sunny breaks over some areas. Temperatures are likely to be mild across the whole sector. Over the north, going to range between 34 and 36 degrees Celsius. Over the southern sector is going to range between 33 and 29 degrees Celsius. So this is going to be from now till tomorrow in the afternoon, till the time we will bring you the update. So for now, this is going to be up on the screen is the forecast for the next 48
Asasura, measuring an acre. Asasura special cocoa fertilizer will help you harvest more cocoa. Asasura helps your cocoa to grow by replacing the lost nutrients that are lost from the soil as your pods grow. Before applying Asasura, you should remove all weeds from your farm. You should measure an acre. Using pound funds, measure a triangle with sides that are 3, 4, and 5 feet long. Using pound.
That's all in this package. We come your way again at 10:30. Talking Points is next Tuesday.